So I've got the turn signals out now, or the side markers here. I call those side markers, but for these, the turn signals were in the 97, 93, 96 up there. So these were your turns too. It wasn't their turns, they were just side markers. Anyways, we're going to convert this 97, 98, got the pilot bearing out, but we're kind of in a waiting game. While that is going on, I'm going to be putting in this brand new panel here. Here's the part number right here, because this car, aka the auto car, has Junsi auto panels in it. And this is brand new from Toyota. It's like 40 bucks, I want to say. So you can buy this brand new, which is super nice. But everything else, because you couldn't buy this OEM new, I got this all from Junsi Auto. Now you can see the buttons there. Looks like they need to be replaced too, but those are direct OEM replacements. Those are bought directly from Toyota. And I guess they should be not black. I guess they should have been painted. But you can see here, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And it's hard to see the lights, a little bit misleading here, but I'm gonna get the panel out and put them side by side. I painted this, but I wanna get it to match because this, when you get it up there and driving, this should be verbatim how it should look. So I got a brand new one of these. You can still get this from Toyota. So I was like, screw it, let's get a brand new one, put it in for the cost, and I could take this one out. And I've got all the panels in the basement, and I'm gonna sell them here. Because to convert your car over to this, to do everything. So if you needed this switch panel, if you need the auto shifter or manual shifter, if you need every single panel of the switches, I think it comes out to like $1,450. So I was probably gonna let my setup go for like half, so like $700. It's already stripped and painted. I have it in the basement ready to ship, but yeah, I just thought that's pretty neat. But again, if you need the part number for this side panel, which is it right there, and again, this only comes in 93, 96 color. If you need 97, 98, you must order from someone like Junsi. I think there's one panel left that you can still get in 97, 98 color. I think there's one panel. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. But besides that, you can't get the color anymore. So, yeah, this car is a 93, 96 color, so it has that like a little bit of a texture, a little bit rougher feeling, I would call to it. But yeah, let's get this off. Popping the door panel off, I don't like doing, but it needs to be done. So this door panel has seen better days. I know Junsi Auto is also working on a new door panel. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Both cars need it, so I think we'll actually use it in the 6-speed car because that needs some love, and I'm doing a full quote-unquote restoration of that interior too. Interiors are really important to me for the fact that that's the thing you see, touch, feel the most. Like you can see how chewed up these areas are, and I try to not dent it, but this, whatever the foam material is, it's just really gotten beat up over the years. So while we're in here too, I'd like to go ahead and replace these speaker covers. Now, both sides need to be done. They're not hateful. The color's not terrible, but it has turned purple. So I figure while we're in here, we'll do that. To get this panel off, we have to take a lot of little screws out. Be careful. I am going to be using a small little impact to remove them. Do not use it to install. I'm gonna do it all by hand. Even when we're moving, just be careful. These come off these like little wing nut things. I don't know what they're called exactly, but Junsi also includes those when you get this. So actually, let me show you that quick. So this still doesn't do a great representation. I'm gonna pull it out and put them truly side by side, but you can see there, so if we can see it, it's much lighter with this, even though this is darker than the 97, 98. And then for this piece here, you can see this is actually in good order, and there's a left and right side, so I had to make sure I put the right one on the right side, and it goes in a certain orientation. But you see how this is nice and black still. And the weave is much tighter on this, it looks like, versus this. But you can see it's just turned like purple over time. See if I can get back here. See how it's like, and this isn't bad. My 6-speed car is really bad. So I'm gonna pull this off, put on the new speaker cover, just so we can see the difference. All right, so everything's installed now. I wanted to show you guys. So just gotta be careful here, but you can see, and again, matching up with the dash, it just has that nice flat look, which you should, and you can see how nice this speaker cover is. Now, the one on that one looks good still, so I wasn't going to replace it just for the fact that it looks good. I'm gonna use that extra one for my car and then get one extra one for it since I need 2 of them. But this just looks nicer. And again, just discolors over time from sunlight, so hopefully keeping it in the garage, which I do have natural light that comes in here, but not nearly as bad. You know, just dyes just naturally turn colors. It is a nice OEM replica. I mean, I can't tell the difference, and again, it's on there tight. This obviously was an OEM piece, which you guys saw, but it matches up perfectly to that. Just shows how quality the Junsi panels are. So that's that. Now let's move on to the next fun project. All right, guys, we're starting off right away. So this is us going over the rear being built now for my car. So we're going to start off with these parts here. I'm hoping to try and keep everything condensed in one video. Jose there actually just messaged me, Jose Ortiz, messaged me like, hey, do you have the part numbers for some of the hubs and stuff? And I'm like, dang it, I didn't actually show that in the video. So this is going to kind of go over what you're going to need when you do the rear hub rebuild. Now, everything from this is Toyota except for these bearings here, which I'll explain. So you're going to order 2 new hubs, And I just asked Frankie, I'm like, look at this blue coating. And again, that's to keep it from rusting, but it is thick on this one versus this one didn't really have much. You can see a little bit more on the front side here. I'm actually going to paint the back side just like I did for the fronts. But let's just go over the part numbers first and foremost. For this, you're going to need 2 of the same hubs here. It will come in with the pressed in studs already in it, which is the part number here. You're going to need, again, 2 of these, okay? That's what you're going to need. 2 dose, all right? Then you're going to need 2 of these seals. Here's the part numbers here. You're going to need 2 of those seals. Next, you're going to need 2 of these. Does it have the part number covered up there now? 90311570001. Gonna need 2 of those. 2 of these retainer clips. Part number. And then the last thing you're gonna need is shields. Now, my understanding is I think you could try and salvage these, but these are cheap. It's not worth it to put new shields on if you're doing all this work. But there's the part numbers for the shields. Now, these Timken bearings. You can't buy the bearings from Toyota. I don't know why. When I talked to Frankie, he said the same thing. I'm like, nah, Frankie, what do you know? I'll go look it up. I couldn't get the bearings. I'm like, this sucks. But you can buy these Timken, but for each bearing alone is 75 bucks. Not cheap just for this. These hubs weren't cheap either. But it's a one and done kind of situation. For that, again, you're just going to look it up on Rock Auto, but there's not a good, where is it at here? Right here. Right there. That is, you're going to need 2 of them again. Timken TM5011007. So, yeah, if that makes it a little bit easier for you guys, hopefully that helps. But I'm going to try and scuff up the back of this a little bit. I'm going to paint it like I did in my past video, just up to a certain part, just so when you're underneath. And again, no one else is ever going to see this. It is for my own sanity. I don't know why I put myself through this, but I do. Again, this one is super coated. If they all came like this with this heavy coating, but like I can dig my nail in it. It's not, I'm afraid once it gets hot, this is good for now, but I'm afraid longevity wise, it wouldn't hold up like paint does. So I just don't trust it. I want to get it all off too. So that's the next issue because it's, man, I don't want to get it up on here or on the splines because it's like it coated the whole thing in it. I do like that too. So like, they have like that little black rubber piece there that's actually affixed to the actual hub to keep it from rusting. So these are definitely nicer than the ones I got from Rock Auto when I did the fronts. That being said, I don't think it's that crazy of a difference, personal opinion. We're also going to find out if these hubs even come close to fitting on right now. I don't want to try and press them on yet because it's not time, but let's see if I can open this up. Come on, Jimmy, get out of there. I want to see if at least, like maybe they're just overly too big in general. Like they could not fit maybe at all. So I did just slip it on top and it does seem to somewhat fit. Like it's got a tight fit. It's going to take some work there. But again, I got to clean all this crap off now. I'm not sure how long it's going to take because it doesn't seem to be coming off that easily, even with brake cleaner. So this might take me a skinny minute because again, I want to get it all off. Because again, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it, guys. It's like a rubbery material almost. Like, super weird. And again, they put it on so heavy on this one that it really came over into the threads. I'm afraid about. Looks like Toyota might have messed up, or obviously Toyota didn't do this. Whoever, because like that's so thick there, the hub with the wheel wouldn't sit right in the hub, which I wouldn't like that. Or the brake caliper, or good Lord, the rotor. I'll take a look at that. So, all right, let's clean this one up and start getting one painted. Now, one thing you'll notice, I did spray it like I did the front hubs on my car, which is over there. I still have his car here, which we're getting much closer on. So, got it all cleaned up, got it coated. But my next thing is, these are brand new studs. I'm just curious, what are the strength of factory studs versus ARP? Now, ARP are supposed to be stronger, but I don't know that for a fact. I know that studs over time, for people over cranking them, doing that nature, they do break. Now, the other issue with ARP is you do have to cut them down. Not the end of the world, and I can, with this out, this is easy to hit with a hammer and bang those studs out. But I'm curious if anyone knows, what are the actual tensile rating of, say, a true factory stud? Not the aftermarket stuff, like, not the stuff like you get from Rock Auto or something like the front hubs of my car, but what is the factory Toyota stuff, like, rated for? I'm curious if they break over time just from people cranking them down too much, using it with an impact, or just corrosion over time. It's just something I'm curious about. But this is what it looks like. Sprayed it with Sen Black like I did mine, and just amazed how well this holds up, because I just cleaned my car and I'm like, I wonder if it's going to flake off. It did. It's like, it is what it is. No big deal, no foul, no harm done. But it's held up great. Like, beyond impressed. A little seal comes down over this, so yes, the black goes up a little bit higher, but again, it's not like a critical seal. This is the area you don't want to touch where the bearing goes in, but the rest of this is just like a rubber seal, so it's not the end of the world. So yeah, and I don't spray the face of it here, just to Just don't want to do that, especially with putting a wheel on it. So that is done. Both of them in there. I'm putting it back in the bag. Another thing I wanted to say, Powerhouse Racing, once again, stepping in to help me out. So thank you guys over there. Probably one of the biggest helps that I have, so I appreciate it. So if you guys know, I already have solid rear mounts in my car. So this goes, which I'll show you guys later in the video, this goes in the back of the car. I have red ones. I wanted black, and I pretty much have this thing for Powerhouse Racing. If you can't tell, turbo kits, every part of my car is pretty much PHR. So here is the number for that. Here you go. Billet rear mounts. And I also have their tool. Now this tool is from years ago. Does it even have? It does. It says where it's from. There's a PHR number. But this allows you to install and uninstall. You can see I've used it quite a few times on my car and friends' cars. So it allows you to remove the bushings and install them. It's a nice tool to have. I've had people say, can you ship it to me? I'm just always afraid I won't get it back. Number two, it's a tool I have. I know what it's like when someone borrows your stuff, and I'm not picking on anyone. It's just I'd rather have it for myself. So here's my new black mounts. I want to get these installed. And the reason I go solid is I just don't want to break the rear. My car is more quote unquote race car than this car, which I'm keeping as much rubber mounts as possible. I don't want anything solid if I can stay away from it. So that car, I'm just going to put another set in. Yeah, and black is always nice. So thank you again, Powerhouse Racing. Deeply appreciate that. All right, boys and girls, today's the day we start on it. I'm done putting it off. Carlos's Supra is done for the most part, just waiting on the last little bits and getting it tuned by Lawrence Shipman. So I'm just going to start my car. Went ahead and took the exhaust off. We're going to drop the transmission again because I believe my tilt and throw bearing busted. If I look up in there, you see a little bit of fluid dripping off. And when I went up, not guessing, blowing up top, I could actually see, excuse me, I could actually and unfortunately see that the fluid was going down. One other thing too I need to look into is spraying the inside of this frame. So when they dipped it, this is the only thing that was hollow up front. This and these two pieces here. The rest of it, like it was a solid item. These were all solid, but this actually has a little bit of a hollow area. Not much, but I gotta spray something in here because I can see rust forming because they dipped this to completely strip it. Because there's no good way of sandblasting all this, so I get why they did it. So I gotta find a good way to either spray paint in here. I'm gonna tape off areas so it doesn't spray everywhere else, but literally soak this in spray paint or something inside, or some type of grease to keep it from rusting internally. Because that is something we're gonna have to do out back here. So I'm gonna go ahead, there's no brake fluid in the car as it is, and I'm gonna take the wheels off, get the hubs out. I'm gonna start with the diff, drive shaft. I'm gonna get this plate off here and here, and get that removed because I think I'm gonna get that powder coated just because why not? Kind of a situation because it'll just look better. Drive shaft off, and I've already got it marked so I know where to put it back to. Take out the diff completely. I then need to remove these. So these bushings got to come out because I've got new ones. So as you can see, it's not hateful back here. I also have a new cover. So you can see I've got my headlamp light on. You can see here something must have hit it, and this is why a metal tank cover is nice. So my buddy Tony has a carbon fiber one, and I've always been curious, is that good enough? Because it's carbon fiber. Yes, it's light, but is it going to be able to handle damage like this? Look at something must have came up one time and really plowed into this. So I'm curious how this looks underneath, because whatever hit it hard. So I'm curious if the tank's okay. You can see it's been bottomed out or something hit it. I had spray painted this on the car years ago, and it's not good. So Tony, when he took his metal one off, he sold me his old one. Yes, it is dirty, but you can see it has none of the damage that mine has. All the fins and stuff are nice. And again, I could, pry some of that out. You can see some paint overspray. We're going to dip this and powder coat that, most likely like a flat black or like a semi-gloss. I don't think a gloss black will look proper. Could be wrong, but I just don't think that'll look right underneath the car. So all that's coming off. I'm going to powder coat all this too. I had done this when I did her car. It just, something was easy to remove. So I'll pull it back off and clean it up. But yeah, for the most part, all of it was pretty easy. This will come off. The whole subframe comes down. Again, all these arms gets replaced except these. I just can't believe, again, Marks Engineering made these years and years ago, but no one does now. So that's a little weird in itself. And again, for the subframe, the hardest part's going to be because I know he's going to want to dip it, but it's massively hollow, and I'm afraid it's going to rot out from inside. So I'm trying to find the best way. If he does do it that way, how do we get as much powder coat into it and then make sure the whole thing is sealed up? I don't want it rotting out because, I mean, this is a Supra subframe. It's not exactly easy to come by. I just want to do it once and do it right. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is getting replaced, so it doesn't matter. Like I said, all these arms you see, everything, we'll repowder coat the rear sway bar. I'll get new mounts back here, new hardware too. A lot of it's going to be dress-up bolts, but a lot of the structural stuff will get new OEM bolts. After talking to my buddy at Big O Motorsports over there, You know, it's just easier to get new. The coatings on it are up to par, and you don't have to worry about a metal that's fatigued from 30 years. And, you know, I'm probably going to put now 20,000 miles on this car in the next 5, 6, 7 years. So nothing crazy. So the bolts should last me a lifetime. And realistically, these should. It looks like I need new hardware here in the back. Those look pretty worn out. Yeah, I need to talk to Joel Granis as there's a possible new cover setup coming out. So I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing with that. And these brackets here, I'll have those powder coated. If powder coating is done right, you can have something that's bent out and bend back in. It's supposed to be able to be malleable, which is pretty cool. So I'll be able to do all that. And then maybe I'll get new lines. I don't want to if I don't have to, just because, you know, it's cost savings. But it's one of those things, if it's all out, you know, go ahead and do it. I gotta see how much something like that costs. I'm trying to see if there's anything else back here. I do gotta fix this leaking thing. Again, my understanding is the hole for it is too small coming out of the diff cover, so it needs to be drilled and tapped. We'll powder coat this. Not much else, but yeah, so I'm gonna get the drive shaft off here next so I can at least get that, take the diff out, get these bolts out, and then I think I'm gonna work on the wheels. And I do have a dead man coming because I know I'm gonna be removing a lot of weight from the rear of this car, and I'm afraid it's gonna go It just scares the shit out of me, so I don't want that happening. So I got a dead man coming so the front of the car doesn't droop down on the front. Just rather safe than sorry. But yeah, looking good. So I'm gonna shut up now and see if there's how much of this I can get off. So the handy dandy man's here. Colton, look at him.
How you doing?
Hey there, how you doing? So we went ahead and started taking everything out. Axle's out. I did mark driver versus passenger, but you can tell one's longer than the other. But just to make it easier for me so I don't have to forget. To put the diff in and out, you need to make sure you put your axles in first. And in this case, since it's the opposite, you have to take the diff out first and then the axles. One thing I wanted to show, because you want to make sure this is, remember what you did, but you have to shim this to get the right pinion angle. I actually have a pinion angle sensor in here, or a level sensor, or level, just a level, I guess, or electronic level, whatever, that works so I can get the right angle. But I wanted to show this in the video, just so I have it, so you can see the top bolt here, one washer, and then there's two in here with one gold. Then the small one goes to top, big, I guess, plastic. These are like ABS plastic almost, and then one gold, and then that. So Colton's gonna go ahead and bring that off. Thank God for Milwaukee. And then, yeah, now we can just, gosh, dang it. Again, I don't know what sure this is. Lower, it just says, that's pretty much work too, so nifty. All right, so I got a good bit of this stuff laying out here. Colton left. It's the next day. I can only get a little bit done at night. But start taking the sway bar stuff apart because I'm gonna get these powder coated too. The Zerk fittings, all that good stuff. Brakes are out. Gonna get all this powder coated too, the cage and this. Track arms here will be replaced. I'm gonna order new bolts and I'll show those in the probably next video when I order everything and show it with the new arm. Now, still a good bit ways to go here. Started taking off all my ABS stuff here. See if, do I have my head? And I don't. See if this will even focus in here, but this is all bolted. Now, a lot of this stuff I won't be able to reuse. You can see the other one back there. I won't be able to reuse these brackets because the new tubular arms won't have mounts for it. Now I'm gonna use the same zip ties I use in the front that Alex from Absolute German Performance gave me. So I'm gonna use those to keep it tight. But now it is time to release the e-brake. To do this, I'm gonna set up the camera here, but you gotta start with these two little springs and then pull the shoes out, and then I wanna show you, because we gotta take this apart here. I wanna have this for my own sake. I didn't see any videos. I've seen a video of assembling it, but not taking it apart, so two different things, obviously. So yeah, let's take it apart. I wanna order some of the new parts in here too, see what I need, and then get this damn shield off on both sides. Well, I think vice grips work better, because you gotta have some serious, I don't know how, it is like stuck on there. Yeah, it works way better with vice grips. Way better with vice grips. Yeah, that worked out 10 times better with those. So we gotta do the other side now. This one's a little bit harder to get to, just because of the orientation of it. But without having the other one on it, I think I can use my other needle nose now. Let's see here, see if I can get like regular needle nose on it now and see if I can just, it just wants to slip off. These things are junk. So get the needle nose back on it here, pull that one off. And, well, this needs to come off now. And da-da-da, next one's off. Next, we gotta remove this right here. It's just got like a little spring on it. You're gonna press back on that, so shouldn't be like the end of the world to do so. Again, keyword is shouldn't be the end of the world, but we'll see here. Should just be able to push on it, and it should, well, help if I had in the right orientation, and that should pop like that. And then slide it out like so. There's the top one, and you got one on the bottom also, so there's two of them. So there's the top. All right, next we gotta get this bad boy out here. I'm not sure how this comes out exactly. I assume this just, yeah, I guess that's it. Like, I'm gonna just pop it up and out, and that's it. Yep. It just slides up to the side. One here. Yep, okay. That's popped out. Now I just gotta wiggle it some to try and, I'm not sure why. It's still stuck on it when it shouldn't be. There we go. You can hear me grunt. There we go. Oop. Come on, baby. There we go. Now this should pull out from there. Now the next thing is going to be the e-brake assembly stuff. Now from here, should be able to pull this down, and this should, keyword should, pull right out. See, that pops out then. So you guys can see that there, that pops out. So it's facing, orientation was facing like this, I believe. So this is what you use to increase or lower tension. For your e-brake, you shouldn't do it from inside. This is what you should use to actually increase or lower your tension for e-brake. I had to do this all on both cars because they got so loose. You see your e-brake handle go up super high. This is what you need to adjust to get your e-brake handle not to go sky high. You should be able to get, I always say the second click is where it should start to work, just God forbid, and then it should go up to like 4 or 5 clicks, and that should be truly tight. If you gotta like yank it to the air and you're seeing the bottom part of your e-brake handle, then you need to adjust this bad boy, or your brake shoes are junk. So went ahead and popped this out too. This is for your e-brake. It has a tension and stuff. This is going to be a little bit of a PETA to get back in. I watched another gentleman's video, so that looks like that's a bit of a pain to try and get back in the shoe here. It slides right back in here. So it slides like this. If I can show that there, slides like that into here. This is like a little open slot that you put it back in. Now we got to take out the spring here. See if I can just grab hold of the meaty part. See if I can pull it that way. Nope, of course not. I watched another video. I did find someone else. I kind of made a video on this, and they struggled with this too. Like, even with it's just not in a good spot. I guess that wasn't as bad as I thought, but still, that thing is crusty. I could reuse these because they're barely used, but I'm gonna replace these hogs. So that's done. Hopefully all that recorded, but you can see, got the shield I still need to take off, which you gotta use 10 millimeters. You have to take this all apart like we just did to actually access the 10 millimeters that are back here. I think there's 3 or 4. And I'm gonna have my buddy, Brandon Bless, he's gonna push all this out. I got brand new bearings for it, which we already saw. I need to see down here, I need to push this out, but I think that's still bolted in, I believe. Yes, this 10 millimeter here holds the e-brake in, so I'll have to pull that out, and these other ones hold the shield in. And then for these guys here, hold on. And then this 10 millimeter here is what you need to unbolt to take the e-brake out. Then you got these other 10 millimeters here, and there's one there that removes the shield. Now I still think you need to pull the whole assembly apart to get the shield off, so you gotta press the bearing out still, I believe, I could be wrong, to even get that out. And these, I don't know if these even come out. I don't know if you have to buy those, because those look a little crusty too. Someone can maybe give me some information on these guys, but those look a little crusty. They're not looking too happy there. Just trying to see if there's anything else, but that looks like it. Again, that's all part, because I need to pull out the e-brake sensor too. So, all right, let's unbolt that there. I'm not gonna show this on camera now. This is basic, but I wanted to show just how to get the e-brake shoes off. So let's unbolt this, and then we'll take the other 10 millimeters, which you can use down here for this. We can go underneath, but these ones here, you can access through this hole. Oops. You can access through this hole if necessary, and same thing over here. The one right there, you can access, the light will show, sorry it's blacking out, but there's 10 millimeter there. So I lied, 2 of those are for the e-brake. That's for the e-brake, and this is for the e-brake, and they're 2 little short 10 millimeters. And I should be able to wiggle this out now. See, I have to mess with it from the back side, but that should just wiggle out, but that at least is loose. I want it done, and I believe these are for the shields then. So, because those look like don't think those are 10, I think those are 12, so those might be 12 millimeters to take the shield off. All right, want to go over two things with you here. Did not have very much fun. Pulling these cables out, you have to put a screwdriver bow on the back side of this and pry and wiggle as you pull on this to pull it out of this hole here, okay? I talked to my buddy Frankie, and he's like, dude, it was such a pain to get out, but he's like, what'll make you laugh is when you go to put it back in, he's like, it just slides right in, like nothing ever happened. I'm like, you're kidding me. He's like, dude, it's so easy. And I'm like, well, I mean, at least that's good. And then for the ABS sensors here, that is an animal in itself. All right, so with the ABS sensors here, I had to grab the top of it here and wiggle it back and forth. So like it's stuck in, it's sitting in there like this, right? Inside that, I had to wiggle it back and forth like this and use a crap ton of PB Blaster. Thank you to Oscar, my buddy Frankie. He's like, dude, I think Frankie said they broke one or both of them. I'm hoping they're both still good. They pulled out when I cleaned them up here, but it definitely took some oomph and this wiggling it back and forth till they both popped out. And then it got both the cables out too. Now, part of me wants to replace the cables, but I think if I clean them up and then paint that maybe, because I just hate to replace the cables for no reason when I don't think they're bad in any shape, way, or form. And then I can get these brackets here powder coated. So I just don't see the point. Again, you guys tell me if I'm wrong here. Went ahead and removed the bolt here or the nut here. And here, just remember on this one, there is a cup that goes on this, so that goes on the passenger side. And then I think that is it. Now it's time to take off the rest of the braces and stuff. So I already got the bolt out for this. What we're going to do is most likely take off this one here next. And again, this is some of where the car is alignment bolts, so figure out where they need to go. When you take this off and you got to get the car realigned, this is going to be one of the issues you're going to have. So I'm going to get all new bolts. I just don't think re-zinking them is the best way to go about it.